You're listening to KZSC News, local news from the Monterey Bay. In today's lineup, a former Seattle police chief's thoughts on police training, Assemblymember Mark Stone's thoughts on community radio, and recent protests at the University of California, Santa Cruz.
According to the New York Times, under Trump's decision to aggressively crack down on immigration, Homeland Security has announced the creation of an office that would aid families that have been in situations where crimes have been committed by undocumented immigrants. Critics of Trump's approach says that it unfairly takes aim at a population that is no more likely to commit these crimes than our own American citizens. ICE officials said the office would provide a hotline for victims and would contain about 21 community relation officers and 27 specialists on victim assistance. They said the office would be funded by existing resources in the government. Trump announced this order when he signed an executive order on immigration. Despite the government's standing, research has shown that there are lower levels of crime among immigrants than among native-born Americans. Critics stated that Trump's stance on crime committed by undocumented immigrants could set a dangerous trend of hate crimes in America.
Santa Cruz County launches a nurse-family partnership, which is a program that allows for low-income, first-time expectant mothers to receive visits from public health nurses, who will provide guidance and mentorship up until the child's second birthday. Up to 100 mothers can be enrolled. They must live in Santa Cruz County, be no more than 28 weeks pregnant, and be eligible for Medi-Cal. Anita Alvarez, Director of Nursing for Santa Cruz County Health Services Agency, said that it will involve family planning, parenting, and emotional attachment. The nurses visit mothers' homes to also provide guidance on nutrition, breastfeeding, and child development. They encourage new moms to finish their education and seek higher-paying jobs. Supervisor Ryan Coonerty advocated the Nurse-Family Partnership in 2016. The Nurse-Family Partnership, which began in 1977, has programs in 43 states and 22 counties in California. It has been found to reduce child abuse, subsequent births, and improve reading and math scores for children in 1st through 6th grade.
The African Black Student Alliance at UC Santa Cruz began a demonstration on Tuesday, May 2nd, which moved into the Kerr Hall building. Demonstrators are calling the action a reclamation to avoid the historically loaded protest buzzword Occupy. The ABSA released a list of demands via the AfrikanBlackCoalition.org blog. The demands include guaranteed 4-year housing for students who identify as African, Black, and Caribbean in the Rosa Parks building, and new mandatory diversity competency training for all new UCSC students. They are also asking for the Rosa Parks building to be repainted with Pan-African colors, red, green, and black, and for the Rosa Parks building lounges to be restored as they are currently being used as bedrooms. All the demands were originally made at the start of April, and the protest was organized when the administration did not respond. A representative of the ABSA gave the following announcement on Tuesday night.
We are the African Black Student Alliance. We gave the Chancellor a simple, very simple list of demands that will uplift and affirm the humanity of our Black people here at UC Santa Cruz and ensure that they have a safe space for years to come. And these demands were not met, and the university decided that the safety and general well-being of our Black students is less important than filling up residential halls for money. We will be here until our demands are met, and we are not leaving until they are met.
Administrators told KZSC that an estimated 150 students were in the building as of noon, May 3rd. They also stated that Chancellor George Blumenthal has been working with the student groups, including the ABSA, and that they have, quote, taken some steps forward, including hiring a recruitment specialist and a retention specialist, end quote. The main entrances to the building have been chained shut, and construction paper has been taped to block the windows, in addition to a piece of paper asking for amenities such as food, water, and monetary contributions from those sympathetic to the cause.
Mark Stone, 29th District Assemblyman. You're on the air on KZSC Santa Cruz. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tell me, what does public radio mean to you as an assemblyman and as somebody representing us up in Sacramento?
Well, I listen to public radio quite often. It's one of the most reliable sources of news and getting a real sense of what's happening and what people are thinking without the overlay of the drama, the bias, the nonsense that often comes with other forms of media. And there's always interesting stuff and no ads to break up what's good information.
You mentioned the news. KZSC is now producing its own news. The students have about 8-10 minutes worth of news every week, and they're bringing you their angle, and they're doing their own original reporting.
Yeah, and it's good to have a real-life perspective that's not paid, that's not trying to satisfy something, but it's just talking about what they think, why, how, and putting it into a real context. And you'll get that more on public radio than you get in other venues.
Last weekend, former Seattle Police Chief Norm Stamper spoke at events in Santa Cruz focusing on improving police-community relations. This is Norm Stamper speaking at a forum on April 29th, organized by the Santa Cruz ACLU.
Police historically have been aligned with the moneyed and property class in America. Police historically have been aligned with landlords over tenants, management over labor. It shouldn't be the least bit surprising that we have an institution that is an anachronism. It is dysfunctional. Let's understand that what we're dealing with is a deep structural problem and do everything we can to rearrange the way the molecules are organized, to make our police departments a peacekeeping, partnered institution rather than a militaristic, antagonistic organization.
Norm Stamper also met with Santa Cruz law enforcement officials. His latest book is To Protect and Serve: How to Fix America's Police.
Flyers created by white nationalist group American Renaissance promoting white heritage and telling whites to, quote, love themselves, end quote, and denouncing anti-white propaganda were found all around campus at UC Santa Cruz over the last couple of weeks. American Renaissance is an organization that the Southern Poverty Law Center lists as a white nationalist hate group. The quantity of flyers posted throughout campus is unknown, and the incident was reported to UCSC's Hate and Bias Center. On Tuesday, May 2nd, Teresa Maria Linda Schultz, the campus diversity officer for students and staff, sent out an email denouncing the flyers while, quote, unequivocally supporting freedom of expression on campus and student-employee pride in their identities, end quote, and calling students to a conversation about the flyers and campus climate on Monday, May 15th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. in the Oaks Learning Center. American Renaissance has since released a reply to UCSC's denunciation.
On May 1st, 2017, the UC Santa Cruz March Collective organized a picket in solidarity with labor workers, both on campus and as part of protests across the world. May 1st has historically been a day of action for workers' rights in this country, along with issues related to immigration, education, labor, and war. On Monday, strikes and protests occurred in most major cities across the country. Protesters at UCSC on Monday stood arm in arm, blocking foot and vehicle traffic at both the east and west entrances for roughly 12 hours, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. One anonymous protester described their actions as a unified form of self-healing and protection in the only way possible for vulnerable communities. Many classes were canceled throughout the day as a result of the inaccessibility to campus, along with the closure of most dining locations and other spaces on campus which require a full staff. At certain moments throughout the day, tensions rose between protesters, police, and those who disagreed with the picket. There were 2 arrests throughout the day, one for assaulting a protester and another for assaulting a police officer. A few cars attempted to force their way through the line of people, along with bikers, motorcycles, and even pedestrians. After the protesters took down their picket, they conducted a march towards downtown, which concluded at the Beach Flats Community Park, in an effort to include the community in their protest. At the park, there was food and music, funded by donations given to the Santa Cruz March Collective.
I'm Sydney Fishman.
I'm Maelin Rose.
I'm Myra Coons.
This is John Malkin.
Kavya Aswadhati.
I'm Neroli Devaney, and you're listening to KZSC News, local news from the Monterey Bay.